what good is going to come from that? You feeling guilty, you have to kind of ask yourself why. Why would you feel guilty in a situation like that? You'll feel guilty because you're raised up in a society that says monogamy is the only way. Somebody else, you're going to marry this man, well, that person's the home wrecker, this person's snake, this person's this and this and this and this and that. Many women would rather, and they voiced it even on our channel publicly, Muslims and non-Muslims alike, that they would just rather their husband just go ahead and have a mistress or a girlfriend, or just, kind of get a hall pass, if you will, and go ahead and do that, then marry another wife and do something that is moral.
Warning, viewer discretion is advised. The content, views, and educational material you are about to experience could challenge your belief, trigger strong emotions, and frankly, piss you off. This isn't for everyone. If you're not ready to confront new ideas, or if your feelings bruise easily, this might be the time to click away. Expect to be challenged, to think, and you might even want to scream at the screen. Proceed with caution, and remember, you chose to be here. Let's get it.
So sometimes our mouths, reckless, but then when we couple it with our body language, and then we start to carry ourselves like guys, like men, that is going to really be a problem when we start telling a grown man how he should operate. That's why I always tell wives, especially initial wives, don't do this thing where you go, you and I are not ready for polygyny to be in your life, because that's making his decision. And that's a part of stepping over and crossing a line. Having a conversation, yes, let's have the conversations, but let's not turn into a dictator. You can be in all the pain you want to, but it doesn't give you the right to treat your husband poorly. And maybe we've all been guilty of it. But if we could go back, you can be in pain, you can be jealous, you can be all those things. But treating your husband poorly and telling him what he needs to be doing and what he should do, and polygyny is not for us, that's not feminine. It's not. It's going to start a major problem, and it will snowball instead of just sitting down in a mature fashion and having your feelings, yes, but destroying your marriage over this. Be very, very, very careful about how you communicate and how you posture yourself as a woman.
Now, really quickly though, we're gonna be done in about 10-15 minutes, inshallah. 10 to 15 minutes, it's a wrap. So if you have some questions, we're gonna allow everybody right now, go ahead and ask any questions, that's fine. Put question marks before your question. And we do have a question address. I'm gonna ask Coach Nyla to address first. So if you do have a question, put question marks at the beginning so we can see it, find it easily. We'll address that. But again, about 10-15 minutes, it's a wrap. We need to pray and continue living our lives. So, but to know where to get our book, for example, because you might have just joined late, Let's Talk Polygamy.com can be found at polygamybooks.com, as well as some of our other courses if you're interested in coaching and whatnot. So you can go there, find information, especially when it comes to frame as well. I do have a frame called the Frame Playbook, how polygamous men build respect, desire, and leadership at home, and also a vetting playbook. I think I put the vetting book. The vetting book might not be up there yet. I need to finish the design, but how to vet for a polygynous union.
Yeah, you had a question.
So here's a question that AJ Muslima said first about 25 minutes ago. She said, how can I have a first conversation with the first wife to find out more about the husband I'm trying to marry without feeling guilty for her pain, as she now knows he's trying to marry a second wife? So how can I have a first conversation with the first wife to find out more about her husband that she's trying to marry without feeling guilty for her pain, as she now knows he's trying to marry a second wife?
You're already on our channel, and you see how we are empowering people when it comes to polygamy education. You may be wondering, what's the next step? Especially knowing that we are the authors of the book,
Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored. If you want to get off the emotional roller coaster, whether it's jealousy, insecurity, frustration, anger, maybe even guilt in some cases, you're going to want to pick up this book.
definitely wish I would have had this book back a while ago when we first embarked on polygyny. And you will learn a lot of things about minding your marriage and what that actually means. So you're not comparing your marriage to your co-wives or anybody else's for that matter.
If you have heard, I'm not against polygamy, I just against when it's not done right, you want to learn how to do it right? This will teach you how to be more than twice the man you need to be to get it done. Let's talk polygamy.com. We look forward to shipping yours off to you.
That question is really interesting, and there's a number of things to unpack, because you're having the conversation with her is not going to stop you from feeling guilty. That's one of the things I would like to say, that it's not going to stop you from feeling guilty. You're going to feel however you're going to feel, whether it's guilty or not. Having a conversation to find out more about him, that's not the person you actually have the conversation with. You know, her marriage is her marriage. Your marriage will be yours. So whatever life that they're living and have lived is that life that they live and have lived. And it could be some biases when it comes to that. So when it comes down to it, your best bet is finding out more about him through other people that are, what's the word I'm looking for, that are neutral sources, where that's where we talk about the Wakil, Wali, where it's the guardian, people who know him, things like that, other than his wife. Not saying that you can't have a relationship with her, that you can't have conversations with her and things like that. But if you, by you stating that, you know, not feeling guilty because she's feeling away, or she having these big feelings and things as far as that, having that discussion with her is not the best thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, that's the long and the short. I don't know. I need to like totally ramble on it.
Yeah, I was basically saying the same thing. That's none of your business.
Yeah.
Really. What good is going to come from that? You feeling guilty, you have to kind of ask yourself why. Why would you feel guilty in a situation like that? You'll feel guilty because you're raised up in a society that says monogamy is the only way. Somebody else, you're going to marry this man, well, that person's the home wrecker, this person's snake, this person's this and this and this and this and that. All right. Many women would rather, and they voiced it even on our channel publicly, Muslims and non-Muslims alike, that they would just rather their husband just go ahead and have a mistress or a girlfriend, or just, you know, kind of get a hall pass, if you will, and go ahead and do that, then marry another wife and do something that is moral. See, we're not anti-monogamy, even though it's failed us. All right, we're simply pro-morals. All right, so that lies under minding your marriage. You don't need anybody else's approval for it. It's an entire process, especially in polygyny. Like I mentioned at the beginning, you might not have tuned in. You really don't know who you married if you're a man until you had a polygyny discussion. So we encourage you to do it faster, get it out the way, deal with it, address it, come back to it, whatever, to at least know who you married before. And if you didn't discuss it before marriage. And many people say, well, you should discuss it before marriage. Yeah, that's true. I agree. You should. But here's the facts. If you've never been married before, you're not thinking about polygyny. You're thinking about getting married, which is monogamy. You don't know who you're going to be 5 years from now or 10 years from now. So if you were 19 when you got married and now you're 27 years old, out of that 10 years, have you learned something? I mean, I remember Muhammad Ali, I think it was attributed to saying, look, if you 50 years old and you still thinking like you were at 30, you wasted 20 years of your life. You know what I'm saying? It's just called maturation.